So I've been painting the tops of these battery covers. Unfortunately, last night or this morning there was a mist, so weather report did not call for that. So when I ripped up my painting tape, it was very difficult. You can see how it ripped up to the bottom. I've got some ideas of how to work around that. Part of that, or most of that, was basically because I have two separate colors that I'm painting on top of each other. So what I'm dealing with, or what I'm gonna do, is just do the red and black as much as possible, and then find a different way that's a bit more careful in how to put the tape down. The biggest problem is when you pull up that layer of rubber, the edge catches. And even if you try and cut it, it's actually very difficult to cut straight off, even with a I was trying this utility knife, but it wasn't really going through all the way. In the daylight, I saw that there were still some areas that were showing a lot of black through the red cables. So I went ahead and just put some extra coating onto these guys. So this morning I've mostly been working on one of the Chevy Volt batteries, getting it ready to be painted. So I'm going to paint it blue. And I put painting tape all over it and some cardboard on top. And I cut out all the areas that are currently black. So that's black plastic, and this is a black plate here. I had to cut off some of the black plastic edges where the seller pretty much just separated the batteries. They weren't really after how nice and concise it was on the edges. And I wouldn't have expected that either. But I got that. I scraped off a lot of the goo. I'm probably going to go over this with my goo off just to make sure I get everything cleaned up, because I still feel something. And then I'll go ahead and start painting it up. Here we are with the battery modules being painted with the Plasti dip blue. And this is the last battery module that I'm going to start painting. I did cut in for the divots for where the tan color does show. So you can see I'm just making them a totally blue block, just painting them all around. And apparently the Plasti dip is very similar in color to the painter's tape. Here are the battery covers, and I've been painting their positive and negative terminals red and black. So what I'm going to do is instead of putting tape down, I'm going to just cover these probably with cardboard or something. Multiple colors of Plasti dip are a little bit more difficult with Plasti dip on Plasti dip with painter's tape. It is difficult to pull off the tape with Plasti dip, because no matter how much you pull off and use a knife, the rubbery substance still wants to kind of like pull and not cut. So I'll be working a little bit more on being careful with that. All 4 battery modules have been painted with a few coats. I'm under the impression that they might need more, especially the one on the end here on the far right. Here are the cables. They turned out pretty nice. And there's the battery covers. They still need to be worked on.